Hi everybody, it's Brian for the MacMob.com, and in this video I'll be showing you how to create a bootable Lion USB flash drive. Now this is good if you would like to make a Hackintosh out of your Windows-based PC, or Linux-based of course. So I will be following a tutorial that I found on insanelymac.com. I'll put a link to the tutorial down below in the description, as well as in my blog posting on the MacMob.com. So this is a very simple thing to do, and I've been Hackintoshing since Tiger 10.4, and in my opinion Hackintoshing has never been easier. It's very compatible with lots of different pieces of hardware, and it's very easy to do. So there are a couple of requirements for this. You're going to need a flash drive of at least 8 GB in size. I tried this on my 4 GB flash drive, and Lion just needed too much space, a little bit more than 4 gigs, so I went out to CompUSA and I picked up a 16 GB Kingston Data Traveler G3 USB 2.0 flash drive. I'll actually be doing a little review and benchmark of the flash drive over on the TechMob YouTube channel in about a week or so. So once you have your flash drive, you're going to need a copy of Lion. You could do this by either finding somebody who already has a Mac, and then you could just, if they already have Lion downloaded from the Mac App Store, then you could just re-download it so that you could get the DMG file. I've already using Snow Leopard 10.6.7 inside of a virtual machine, which is what I'm using to record this. I just have everything running in VMware Workstation 7 for Windows, and that's pretty much another requirement. You're going to need some sort of copy of an already running you're pretty much going to need an already running copy of macOS 10 Snow Leopard. So you're either going to have to find somebody who has a Mac with Snow Leopard on it, or Lion for that matter, or you're going to have to install Snow Leopard inside of VMware like I have here. And you're also going to need a couple of extra files. As you can see on my desktop, we have some zip files, and inside of those are some other files that will be required for this. I'll put all of these inside of one zip file, and then you can download it directly from the web. It will just make things easier. So once you have all of these files and everything ready, so once you've already downloaded Lion and extracted the DMG file, which is located in the Install macOS 10 Lion application that is installed to your dock, you could go ahead and get started. So the first thing you need to do is mount the install ESD DMG file. You could go ahead and skip the verification step, and after you've mounted it, it will show up on your desktop like you see here. Next thing you need to do is open up Disk Utility. This application is located in your Applications folder and then your Utilities folder, but you could also use Spotlight. But I've already had it in my dock, so let's go ahead and open it up. So you could go ahead and insert your USB flash drive at this time, and once you do that, you need to go ahead and format it. So my flash drive is partitioned to 2 partitions. One is for general NTFS data, so the file system is NTFS, and this is so that I could still use my flash drive in Windows. And I also have a partition called Lion USB, which is where I will be putting Lion, so I will be able to boot from it. So you need to go ahead and erase your partition that you'd like to copy Lion to. So in my case it's Lion USB. You need to make sure that the format is macOS Extended Journaled. Then you can give it any name that you'd like. You can go ahead and click on Erase and erase the partition. You could then go ahead and minimize Disk Utility because we will be coming back to it in a little while. So the next thing you're going to need to do is open up Terminal. And we're going to go ahead and mount another DMG file. So if you'd like, you could go ahead and copy and paste this command from the tutorial that I've written on the MacMob.com. So here is the command, and I'm going to go ahead and push enter, and this will go ahead and mount basesystem.dmg. You could go ahead and skip the verification step as well, and here it is. Now you could go ahead and minimize terminal because we will be coming back to it in a little while. So go ahead and bring back up Disk Utility. Now on the left sidebar, make sure you click on your partition that you'd like to copy Lion to. And then in the middle area, click on the Restore tab. And then from your desktop, drag Mac OS X base system over to the source, and for your destination, go ahead and choose your partition on your USB drive that you'd like to copy Lion to. So in my case, it's called Lion USB. It's already cleanly formatted, so we don't need to check this box, but if you'd like to do so, you can do that just to make sure that everything is erased. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the restore button, and right now this is going to, you need to go ahead and enter your password if you have one. And now it's going to go ahead and copy all of the files from the Mac OS X base system DMG file over to your flash drive. Now this could take anywhere from 5 minutes to about 15 minutes. So I will come back when it is finished. Okay, so you see that it finally finished restoring all of the files from Mac OS X base system over to the flash drive. So now what you need to do is open up your Lion USB drive, and then you need to go to System, Installation, and here you will see a packages symlink. So all you have to do is delete this. You have to enter your password. And then you could go over to Mac OS X, install ESD on your desktop, then drag the packages folder over to the installation folder that you where you previously deleted the packages symlink, and then it will go ahead and copy all of these files to your flash drive as well. Alright, so the file transfer is just completed, and there's only a couple more steps left until we could actually boot from the flash drive. You could go ahead and close out of disk utility because we're not going to need it anymore. And you could also go ahead and close out of terminal because we are done with terminal. So the next thing we need to do is to install this package here, as well as Chameleon, which is the bootloader that we're going to be installing to the flash drive. So first we'll do the extra part. Now I'm doing a lot of background file transfers in Windows, so this process is going to be a little bit slower in terms of the video recording. So you can go ahead and double click on the package file that was just extracted from the zip file. And here it is. Just click on continue. Choose the drive that you'd like to install the software to, which is our Lion USB drive. Click on continue. Make sure that extra is checked. And then install the package. It's going to go ahead and copy all the files to your flash drive. Please excuse that. That was a text message from my phone. So once that's completed, you could go ahead and delete the package file. Next thing we need to do is install Chameleon. So just like before, just go ahead and open the package file, click on continue, make sure that Chameleon is checked, and we'll just ignore all of these other options for now. These are, if you're an advanced user, you can go ahead and check some of these because it gives you a little bit of a description on each one of these. So for now, we're just going to leave Chameleon checked. So click on continue and make sure that you click on change install location because by default it's going to install to your actual Macintosh HD partition, which is the one that you're running OS X in right now. So make sure you click on change install location and choose your Lion USB drive. Click on continue and then click on install. Just like before, you're going to have to enter in your password and it's going to go ahead and install everything to your flash drive. And it is finished. So there's one more little step that I almost forgot. You should have lion_os install_gm.tara.bz2. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to install Lion onto a MBR formatted disk. So usually you would have a GUID disk, which is what most Mac computers use. So if you go into your partition thing, click on options, it tells you your partition scheme would be GUID, Apple Partition Map, or Master Boot Record. So Windows uses MBR, Master Boot Record, and Lion natively uses GUID. So to install it onto an MBR partition scheme, we have to change one of the files in the Lion installer. So you need to double click on the .bz2 file to extract the files within. Then you need to double click on your Lion USB drive. And then in your extracted folder right there, you have to go to System, Installation, Packages, then here you have an os install.mpkg file. You need to put this file over to the same directory but on your USB drive. So once you find it, just go ahead and drag it from your extracted folder over to your USB drive folder, replace it, then if you'd like you could line it back up as shown there. Now we have to replace one more file, but the folder structure is a little more messy, so it's System, Library, Private Frameworks, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and here we have the file that we need to replace. So on our USB side of things, we need to go there and replace the same file. So let's go over and look at the folder structure again so we know where to go, because it's fairly long. So we have to go to Library, Private Frameworks, then we need to install install.framework, frameworks, I think, so there it is, os install.framework, versions, A, that folder, and there is our file. So we just need to drag it over to our USB drive folder, replace it, and if you'd like, you can clean it back up. And now you are ready to install Lion onto your MBR partition schemed drive. So right now we are done with the preparation of the USB drive, and now we can go ahead and put it into our PC and boot from it. So now that your bootable Hackintosh-ready Lion USB drive is ready, all you need to do is put it into your computer and turn it on. So you may need to go into your BIOS so that you can set your USB drive as a bootable drive. So I've already done that in mine, so it should automatically go to the Chameleon bootloader that's being loaded from the flash drive. And here we are. So our Lion USB partition is already selected, and it automatically detects the other partitions that are available on your computer, either through a USB drive or your internal hard drive or solid state drive. So all you need to do is push enter. It's going to go ahead and do a kex cache, which loads all of the kernel extensions into the sort of cache file. This process is fairly quick. Now, if you do see an error like this, it says errors encountered while starting up the computer, waiting 5 seconds. So if you get that, just wait the 5 seconds and it should boot up. So all of what you're seeing is being brought to you by verbose mode, which gives you a text output of everything that's being done in the background while your computer is booting up. And just like that, we're already at the installer. So if you have a mouse plugged in, you can go ahead and use it to move your cursor around. We're going to go ahead and use English. Let me zoom in a little bit. So first we need to go ahead and format our partition. So this is what I did not mention in the beginning, and that's that you need to partition your drive that you want to install Lion to. So my partition is right here called Lion, so click on it. Go to the Erase tab. I'm installing this onto my SSD. It's a 60 gig OCZ Vertex 2 SSD. The partition I gave for Lion is about 25 gigs in capacity. So go to the Erase tab, make sure that the format is macOS Extended Journaled. Give it a name if you'd like, and go to Erase and click on Erase. And it shouldn't take more than 5 seconds for that process to complete, and you could go ahead and quit out of disk utility. Now click on Continue. Accept the license agreement if you want. Wait for it to detect all of your drives. Go ahead and find the one that you want to install it to. So in my case, it is Lion. There's nothing in the customize menu for us to choose, so just ignore that. And you could go ahead and click on Install. So we'll go ahead and install Lion to your drive. Now I'm installing this to an SSD from a USB flash drive. So the SSD is internal. All I'm saying is that I'm installing it to the SSD from a installer from the USB flash drive, as you already know. So this process is going to be very quick. Now I've already done this previously, and it took exactly 5 minutes for the entire installation process. So I will come back when it's almost finished. So the installation is just about complete, and before I actually move on, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the specs of the computer that I'm installing Lion onto. I should have done that in the beginning, but basically I'm using a Intel Core i7-2600K. I've overclocked it from the stock clock of 3.4 GHz over to 4.5 GHz. I'm using 8 gigs of G.Skill Ripjaws X RAM DDR3 1600. As I mentioned earlier, I'm using a OCZ Vertex 2 SSD, 60 gigabytes, and I'm using a GTX 560 GPU. So the installation has completed. Let me go ahead and close out of the log, and let's click on the restart button. So the computer is now restarting. And then we will go back to the Chameleon bootloader from the flash drive that we saw earlier with our list of partitions. So this time, instead of selecting Lion USB, we're going to go ahead and select Lion, which is where I installed Lion 2. So clicking on that, it's going to go ahead and load all of the kernel extensions like it did before, and it should stop saying there's an error encountered while starting up the computer, pausing for 5 seconds. So in a couple of seconds, it will go ahead and boot up. So here we are. And there you go. So Lion is now installed onto the computer, and we could go ahead and set it up like we would a normal Mac. So let's go through here. Just going to skip all of this information for now. Let's go ahead and enter my account information. There it is. Let's continue. Don't need to put a password hint. I'm going to skip the time zone information for now, and we could go ahead and start using Lion. So here we are at the login screen, so let me go ahead and enter my password. And here we are. So Lion is now installed onto the computer, and it seems to be working fine. It should be working fairly fast as well. Here's Launchpad. Here's Mission Control. We could go ahead and load up some applications. Since I have Safari, or not Safari, since I have Lion installed onto a SSD, all the applications load very quickly. Lions is one of those very quick opening applications, or iTunes I should say, getting everything mixed up towards the end of the video. Lion opens instantly. I just did it again. iTunes opens instantly, which is very good. Very happy to see iTunes open instantly like that. So let's go ahead and quit out of some of these applications and go to About This Mac. So you can see that it properly identified my processor, although it's not at 3.4 gigahertz, it's supposed to be 4.5, but that's okay. We could go over here to view some more information. So right now it thinks it's a Mac Pro, even though Mac Pros don't have Sandy Bridge processors, so I'm going to go ahead and change this back to iMac later. Here we have a system report. It's not properly giving our GPU graphics acceleration, so these are the sorts of things that you have to fix afterwards. You know, Wi-Fi, your GPU, audio, those are the sorts of things that you have to fix, and that's what you're gonna have to do on your own through research on the web. There are a number of different websites that offer lots of hackintoshing resources, such as insanelymac.com, TonyMacX86, InfiniteMac, Kexts.com. There's a lot of different resources available to you to help getting things working properly. So before I let you guys go, I wanted to show you how Lion performs once you actually get some of the extra hardware to work, such as your sound card and your GPU. So I'm going to go back into my Lion partition that I've installed. I've already gotten these things to work properly. So I'm going to go ahead and skip verbose mode, and it just puts the Apple logo in the upper left corner for some reason. So let's go ahead and wait for it to boot up. Boots up very quickly thanks to the solid state drive. So here we are at the login screen, and you can see that I am getting full resolution. Go ahead and enter my password. And here we are at my desktop. So I have full QECI, which is Quartz Extreme, and Core Image, which is what gives you your graphics acceleration from your video card. So if I go, you could also see that I made it look like an iMac. So if I go into graphics and displays, you can see that it properly detects my GPU. Although it doesn't know the name of it, it still knows that it has 1 gigabyte of video memory, and it knows my monitor that's plugged into it, and it is at full resolution. And to demonstrate sound, I'm just going to adjust the volume a little bit. And you can see that the audio works just fine. And I could go ahead and play some various sound effects. Like so. So Lion is very fast on this computer. I'm going to go ahead and go into applications and load a lot of applications at once. So I'm just going to go ahead and search for all .app files, and we're going to go ahead and resize this window. Select everything, so I'm going to right click and open, and of course I was going to select it so that it doesn't open the mission control, but here we are. You can see that it opened all of those applications very quickly thanks to the solid state drive. So instead of quitting out of all of these individually, I'm just going to go ahead and shut down. I'm not going to have it reopen Windows when logging back in, because that will pretty much open everything else. And it says that mail canceled the shutdown, so let's try it again. And there we go. And the computer has already shut down. So that is it with the video. So you've learned how to create your own Hackintosh-ready bootable Lion flash drive, as well as how to get it installed onto your computer. So if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can leave them down below in the comments area. And I will be putting a link to my written tutorial down below in the description. It will take you to the macmob.com. So once again, that's it with the video. Thanks a lot for watching, and peace out.